Any objections? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Now we have a couple sets of minutes.
That the minutes of the board meeting held on March 8, 2023 be adopted.
Thank you, Celeste. Second for that.
And Lisa Turpin, second.
Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none. We can move on. Have another set.
That the summary minutes of the in-camera board meeting held on March 8, 2023 be adopted.
Thanks, Celeste.
Second, Lisa. Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none. We can move on. So chairperson's remarks. I guess we've had a few things in the since we last met. Did the school learning plan with Calhoun, and we're planning for our AGM moving forward, and at the end of this month, I think on the 27th. And then there's some other events as well as we're looking throughout the rest of the year. I think that's about all I have for remarks. Any trustee remarks?
None at this time.
Thank you. Superintendent.
Right, thank you. Got a few things to share. So forgive me as I read most of this off. There's some people I want to acknowledge, both in the past and things coming up. So first of all, really excited to be in partnership with Cincinnati Community Services, the Ministry of Family and Childcare, Coastal, and other partners to have been part of the opening, official opening of the new Foundry Center in Squamish. The Foundry, for those that may know, is a province-wide network of integrated health and social service centers, providing young people aged 12 to 24 with a safe and judgment-free environment where they can feel comfortable asking for help and accessing services they need, including support with mental health and addictions. And a few members of the SB48 was proud and that opening on March 31st, 2023. Despite the pouring rain, it was a very well attended and happy occasion. We look forward from our perspective as school districts to continue partnership with them and other community partners in support of the Squamish. Secondly, at Staples School, the students of Staples on March 9th. The Hemlock and Cedar Boughs into the nub of House Sound to welcome that herring to the sound. And this is a ceremony that began a few years ago following traditional Squamish methods. The students learned about the UUs, the orcas, who arrived last week to lead the way at the sound for the herring. And we're all super excited about the return of orcas and the herring, of course. School community was there, Squamish Nation was there, and gave a lot of their time and knowledge and children about the herring and the cycle. And you can find more information on our news and event section on our website. Where there's also a link to a Squamish chief article. I'd like to also remind everyone that tomorrow, on Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. is a by donation Zoom meeting hosted by the Don Ross PAC. They have internationally recognized speaker and best-selling author Barbara Colaroso to share practical strategies for parenting today's teens in a session called Parenting Your Teens with Wit and Wisdom. Cost is free, with a suggested donation of $5 or more. And folks can go right on either our district site or the Don Ross site to order their tickets. And I would like to remind everyone to grab a friend, grab a neighbor, or a grandparent to support our youth today. So that's just the folks there. And as we get into spring, that's theater production time at our secondary schools. So I wanted to share that Pemberton Secondary School is presenting Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, a song through musical with lyrics by Tim Rice and music by Andrew Weber, based on the character of Joseph from the book of Genesis. That is a night of color and song, perfect for the whole family. It is playing in both Whistler and Pemberton. April 15th through to the 25th. Get your tickets now by visiting the Pemberton Secondary School Facebook page. And over at WSS, tickets are on sale for their production of Fame, being presented at the Maury Young Arts Center this May. Tickets can be purchased through Eventbrite. The link is available on the Whistler Secondary website under their news and event section. And lastly, coming up, I don't know the exact date with me, but coming up, Upstate Secondary School will be presenting the musical Chicago. So stay tuned, and we'll get that information out folks as well. And those are my remarks. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So that brings us to our secretary treasurer remarks.
So my only remarks are that if there's any questions of clarification from the public, that they can email the board at board@sd48.bc.ca. And we'll do our best to answer any questions at the end of the board meeting. Any questions should be related to board agenda items. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that brings us, we have no receiving delegations. Student staff presentations, so a ski board bike academy by Principal Aldcroft and Treadway.
Thanks for having me. It's been 9 years, I think, since I sat in front of you guys, not all of you, some of you, asking permission to be able to take students onto the mountain and lead them through a variety of instruction to bring students from low intermediate level to basically certified to instruct other students and guide students around the mountains, and similar program for mountain biking. And we didn't run 1 year due to COVID, but other years have all been quite successful.
9 years now?
8 years running, 9 years ago we started, yeah.
I was here, I remember the conversation.
Yeah. Sure, thanks. So just really appreciate the ability to do that. No other districts have been doing that. And so I was trying to create it out of kind of an industry standard. Since then, a variety of other school districts and superintendents have contacted me, and I've kind of run them through the same program and how to do it, and seems successful in other districts as well. So I just wanted to share some pictures of what kind of our semester looks like for starters. Can I share this? So this year, we really got fortunate with the weather. We started out doing basic skills and techniques, and this was the first day of us skiing, where the basic skills that the students, I think my comment was, they were actually really listening to the basic techniques, and good powder snow is the best judge of that, because if you're not on proper balance and technique, you're not skiing, you're falling. For those that aren't aware, we do snowboarding and skiing. You choose one and you do that through the first 10 weeks. So I'll just run through a few pictures here. It's always nice to get some photos of the students, especially at the beginning, to really inspire them to want to do more, as well as to learn how to take nice photos. So film and photography is one of the courses with part of this as well. And then just part of the program is a lot of fun and camaraderie within it. And so our instructors are always on board for that as well. And this was one of the students suggested making a human chair line. Yeah. And then some interesting cooking techniques that we see that, I learned something new this day of how to cook Mr. Noodle at lunchtime. We do every year go and check out the Foon Ski Factory in Pemberton, which is a pretty neat place for the students to actually see what's going on with the interior of a ski. And Foon skis are, I think, heads and tails above the rest of the skis as far as how they're produced, using locally harvested cedar as well to put into their cores and just make like an amazing ski. So it's interesting for them to go and take a look at that and see how they're laid up. They do custom skis, so they're doing a variety of custom skis for different people, and how different shapes and different stiffnesses affect different skiing ability on different terrain. Some
I had no idea that was here.
yeah, just in the industrial park. And
Wow.
yeah, it's been running for quite a while and quite successful.
What's the name?
Foon, like
Foon?
Johnny Foon. So he's a local skier that's been skiing. He's, you know, the first one to climb Ski Curry and a variety of other mountains in the Coast Range with Eric Piota and Trevor Peterson back in the 90s and 2000s.
Wow.
Oh, how do I escape this part? There we go. Kind of, this is in the way. There we go. And then we transition into mountain biking, and with the mountain biking, it's a lot more opportunity for us to also look at the other courses in the program, which are film and photo media studies and BC First People Studies. So we went out mountain biking last year. We invited Mason Michon, who's an Indigenous local photographer on International Indigenous Day. And he came with Talon Pascal and myself out riding, which is pretty neat. Talon is renowned for building his bows and putting on bow making workshops. He just got invited to the Emily Carr University to instruct on that. And so the two got connected and have actually been coordinating with making some skis and snowboards using traditional yew wood, as well as doing some filming around the area and making a film on him. So it's kind of neat to be able to connect local people in the classroom with local people in the industry that have been successful in making their own business out of a business that didn't exist 15 years ago in film and photography. And then we also attended the community center where there's a massive drumming event that day, and just got the whole class involved with that. And then Mason shared a variety of his photos that he takes while mountain biking. He's extremely renowned mountain biker. There's a bit of turmoil going on with the mountain bike race that happened up on the hillside here. We have all these trails, and there was the Birthing Rock that race was suggested go past. And so instead of trying to choose sides to go on, I invited Jackie Andrews, the mother of one of the students in our class, as well as a renowned local member of the Lillooet community, to come in and share with us the significance of these historical ancestral sites. And so she brought us up there and kind of walked us through what it was and the reasoning behind the sensitivity of these areas and how we can, as a recreational community, go into the outdoors and respect the landscape that we're on and pay homage to the ancestors and do it in a respectful way, which I've known a lot about, but it was really interesting to have that connection with Jackie and her being able to tell us, you know, this is okay practices to do. This is not okay practices to do. And yeah, really interesting time that we had with her. And then we made a bunch of salve out of Devil's Club that we harvested from a creek, and students were able to take some of that home as well, which is pretty amazing. There's a nice picture of her in front of Mount Currie.
I love that she explains the why.
Yeah,
Well, like the rationale behind, not just don't go there.
exactly. And then, yeah, like telling personal stories of things that kind of went wrong from doing wrong things. Signal Hill always invites our class to help out with their sports day or summer day or fun day, whatever it's being called that year, which is a great chance for our students as the programs to improve guiding skills and responsibility. They have that chance later in the year to be able to go out and work with younger students and kind of lead them through a variety of games. By that point, the class has a really neat dynamic where they're able to work together well. I really have a lot of trust in them by that point, and they show a lot of responsibility. And so it's a really fun day that they can act more like kids. Like we act like kids a lot in this class, but even more like kids. And we always have a barbecue, which is kind of a celebration, and kids can just have a chance to relax and hang out with their coaches a bit. We go to the community garden and help out at the beginning of the year, prepping that for the season. So there's a few ladies that are usually responsible for that, and having 20 energetic youth is pretty exciting for them to really get a lot of work done for the beginning of the season. And then again, they get that feeling of contributing back to the community, because the community contributes a ton to this program in many ways. And so they get that feeling of contributing back, and then you always catch a couple napping and going on their phones at the end. And then we just have some pictures of out and about on the mountain bike trails. So we're with instructors all the time, learning a variety of skills. We get the Bike Co to come in and do a mountain bike maintenance program at the beginning, which will be happening in the next week or two. So that when we're out in the mountains, students are aware of how to fix their bikes and how to maintain them. And we just finished a first aid course as well, so that they're kind of versed in that. I think this is an avalanche safety training course that we finished recently. This might have been from another year. But that's basically a summary of what we're up to. I don't know if I've gone on too long or not, but I was just wondering if we could show a video as well of a field trip that Paul, I was trying to show you videos of what this field trip I had envisioned was, and it was really hard to try and like show you, but about going up to the Pemberton Falls.
Right.
Yeah, I can either play it on here or you can play it there, whatever's easiest for you. Okay, sure. So just to prelude this, it was a Ukamuch class where we had Shout and Matatkwa, an elder, like 80-year-old elder at the time, and her daughter-in-law teaching us language and culture, and it was just so rich the entire time they were teaching. Shout was teaching. She would lead off with a song and drumming, and then a story, all of which had like these deep meanings and principles. And they ran through, and it was like, I don't know if it was planned out or just natural on how she teaches, but these lessons kind of just carried through the entire semester. And one of the stories was this family that went up to the Pemberton Falls, which if you haven't been up there, it's spectacular, you'll see. And there's all these lessons in it and these morals. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, it would be so amazing for these students to be able to go up there and experience that, because the story is great, but it doesn't do it justice without seeing it. And so I live at the base of the river there. We went up to our place and Shout sang a traditional song to send people off into unknown territory and a blessing to protect us. And then had some red ochre paint and painted us up so that the evil spirits wouldn't be seen by us and we could pass through, because the whole story is about these bad spirits and bad people and the good that triumphs over it. And then we had a person from what's it called? The climbing wall in Whistler come out and set up a rope system so that people could walk safely down to the falls. And so we sang, went up there, and then one of the workers with us, Brittany Peters, she was drumming up there. Didn't have the drums with us because it was quite the walk, so she was using her walking stick on the rocks, and it was absolutely surreal. So I just roughly put together some clips to give an idea of what it looked like.
Probably the first group from PSS to go up there, right? Yeah. Pioneer.
Martina.
Exploring.
Where is this?
This is at my house, which is right on the Pemberton Creek. Snottville.
Yeah. Even who lives up there usually doesn't like to call it that.
I think
That's all I know about it.
I think that house originally is why it's called Snottville. Because I lived in there, the first ones up there. And, a mayor lived up there, a bunch of.
So Memphis. Memphis.
Yeah, you've even got a double system.
Yeah, so it's a crab claw where you
Almost
couldn't
attached.
could have done do one if the other one wasn't attached, but
Oh, it was one of those.
yeah. And the mist off the falls was just, you know, blasting.
How long of a hike
It's
is
quite
it?
large.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
How long of a hike is it
it's like half an hour. It's really close.
from your place?
Yeah.
There you go. Blooming wildflower.
So I just really appreciate you allowing me to take students up on these types of things and try and, yeah, make the learning a little bit more engaging and in tune with what we're actually talking about. So it's tangible and really sticks.
I have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Yeah.
Um, I just love it. Love what you're doing. I wish you could have been my teacher. Do you have to have a bike and skis participate? Like, how is equipment a barrier?
It hasn't been a barrier. Skis are really easy to get. Like they're very cheap. There's tons of them. If students don't have them, I'll find them. And then same with the bikes. Yeah. A lot of international students come and will buy a bike and sell it because when they're buying a bike, people like bikes are cheap. And then when they're going to sell the bike, a lot of people are arriving in Whistler so they can sell it for as much or more. And then, yeah, skis and snowboards, there's enough people in the community that will just offer them up for students if need be.
Awesome. So
And then, like,
anybody can.
I have like piles of clothing and packs and stuff. I skied professionally for years, and so I've collected a lot of stuff that I provide to the program as well.
Great. Thank you.
What about the ski passes?
Students need to buy their own.
They get their own?
Yep. It's a part of the was it the Mount Currie Snowboard Club, or I'm not sure if that's what it's called these days.
Real lot?
They get a free pass.
It's part of, part of the Olympic, like, legacy. I think.
I don't know if that part is or not, how that works, but then there's the what's it called now? Program that Court developed, or not developed, but helped develop, but there's through Whistler Blackcomb program that if there's severe need for stuff, they will help out at times. So we had one student a few years ago that didn't have a pass and they gave him one.
Nice.
He like missed the dates for buying passes and was,
That's fantastic. How many kids did you have in this?
this
Last one.
semester is 19. Last year we were at 24,
What's the max?
24.
24 is the max?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I love that, growing up here, growing up in Darcy and, graduating Pembroke Secondary, to see the opportunities that we're able to provide our students now. We've always had this whole remoteness, not able to access, not even within the district, but the same level of services and opportunities, and to be able to do this. And you know, this, the outdoor program, like all those types. And I'm a firm believer on learning on the land. You know, there's gonna be more memory there and.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that's awesome. Lisa, Melissa, any questions? Oh, looks like we're good. Thank you for coming in and
Thanks for
sharing.
having me.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bet.
thank you very much for.
Thank you so much.
Let's not wait another 9 years, okay?
Yeah.
Let me know when.
Yes.
I actually have one more
Maybe-
question. So how, and I know that we do a lot of like cross pollination in the district, but I just love what you're doing, and being able to mentor other teachers to do this work is such an important part of, like, when you have people that are super passionate about special programs like this. My hope is that there is opportunity for mentorship and cross pollination so that others can, either do this work in other community, in the South or wherever. Sounds like you're talking to other school districts as well, but any opportunity for that is just so, you have a really great thing going, and it would be great for others to learn from the work that you're doing too.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of, I guess, just within the outdoor ed leadership courses. Gotten together and discussed different things that different people do in their schools. And so it seems like anybody that's interested in doing it has really voiced it. When I was actually developing this, Joel in Squamish was developing the cycling academy as well. And so it was kind of neat because we were both doing that post-grad diploma and kind of bounced ideas off each other. And then at the last, was it the SSTA day in Don Ross, a group of us were together for the outdoor leadership teachers. And everybody was like discussing various aspects of like pricing, liability stuff, logistics. And so it's been nice for that. And personally, I'd really like to have more days like that. Mitch Salkers headed up a couple days like that when he was in our school system. And which was fantastic too, just because his knowledge and experience is so deep. But I also agree, it'd be good to have more days where we're collaborating and seeing how we can potentially share resources. Different schools have canoes, I think, or access to canoes, and others don't. So
Maybe saying it out loud here is enough to make it happen.
Well, I guess I'll jump in and see we have this project, so curious question, right? You might have about education, how to do X, and there's an improved project right there.
okay.
And you're colleague to my right, and away we go.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be a great use of those funds for sure. Yes, it's exciting, awesome, love it. And I know you mentioned too that you know, again, just how you're weaving in other areas of the curriculum as well. Right, like it's your outdoor education program is a true academy program where you're weaving in other learnings from other subject areas, and really appreciate all the things the kids are learning. It's very fulsome and robust. So yeah, thank you.
Well, it seems to work like best. That's kind of how I learned. And so it's, yeah, like we're in the garden as well. So it's like just the whole cycle.
Thanks so much. All right, cheers.
You're welcome to stay if you want.
You don't have.
No.
It's not gonna be that exciting.
Two kids.
Oh, yeah, better do that.
Actually, there's a Whistler Sea to Sky ski snowboard festival going on, the photo showdown.
Oh, wow.
That's really a fan of that. Let's see with my wife later.
Nice.
Perfect.
Enjoy.
Interviews that she's.
Oh.
Cheers.
Busy people. Okay, so we can continue on, and I don't think we have any trustee items. We did lose Rachel. I guess her phone died. Is that what you said? So, but thank you, Melissa. Giving us quorum.
I was just counting. We are still four.
Yeah.
Four.
So board committees, the committee of the whole, we met earlier today. Primarily going through our calendar for the balance of our year on our what we have coming up. And also conversation behind the BCSTA AGM. And we're presented with many motions that will be debated at Academy. There will be 3 trustees, our superintendent and our secretary treasurer, right? Yep. In attendance at the end of the month. And that was pretty much it for the committee of the whole.
I'd like to make the recommendation that the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on March 8th, 2023 be accepted.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Okay, hearing see none, and we can continue with our policy. Didn't we have a couple motions to come out? Yeah. Oh, it's a separate area. Okay, well, we met and we discussed 2 policies. The policy committee is moving those forward and they'll be up later in the agenda.
Okay, and I'd like to make the recommendation that the minutes of the policy committee meeting held on February 8th, 2023 be accepted.
Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Okay, you can see none. We can move on. Finance committee did not meet today. Indigenous education. We haven't met. It's been rescheduled for, I think, April 25th, we're hopeful. Public relations, anything to report? Celeste? No? Nothing to report. Early learning, and I think you have your first meeting coming up, Lisa. Yeah, okay, so that'll be for future. And with that, then we have we have no business arising under general. We're on to information items, ministry funding and, oh, wait a minute, you wanted to move?
Yeah, I was just
forgot.
thinking it might be a good idea. So I just suggested that if we can move up any, like maybe the bylaw, just in case Melissa has to
Oh,
run,
absolutely.
the
So-
capital bylaw.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
the,
a friendly motion to amend the agenda? I guess. We should do that.
Let-
To move it.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move down to the bylaw section and then come back to information items when we've completed that business.
perfect. Thank you, Celeste. And thank you, Lisa. And I don't see any or hear any objections. Nope.
That's just housekeeping. Let's go straight.
It's
to the
not as big of
bylaw.
a rush. This is bigger. rush.
Yeah,
We
we've
can do
got
policy.
a deadline to get the capital plan
Yeah.
bylaw in.
Yeah.
So, anyone prepared to read that?
Do you want to give it a introduction, Danielle, before we make the recommendation or?
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I have some notes here. So every year, the Ministry of Education provides us Ministry of Education and Childcare provides us with a capital approval letter. So it outlines what capital projects we have for the next school year. So we received ours. We're going to be getting a couple HVAC upgrades for Mamquam Elementary and Whistler Secondary, and also Garibaldi Highlands will be getting an accessible playground equipment. And we also have a new school bus. So we have approval for that, and the board is required to pass a bylaw for that ASAP so that we can
Okay.
get started on the projects. Yep.
In that case, I'd like to make the recommendation that the Board of Education unanimously agree to waive the requirement that the first, second, and third reading of school district number 48 Sea to Sky capital plan bylaw number 2023-24 CPSD 48-01 be given on different dates.
Thank you, Celeste. Second. Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Okay. Seeing none. There's one more.
Okay. That I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education give the first, second. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna start again. That the Board of Education give first, second, and third reading to school district number 48 Sea to Sky capital plan project number 2023-24 CPSD 48-01 as follows. Whereas in accordance with section 142 of the School Act, the Board of Education of School District number 48 Sea to Sky, hereinafter called the Board, has submitted a capital plan to the Minister of Education and Childcare, hereinafter called the Minister, and the Minister has approved the capital plan or has approved a capital plan with modifications. Now therefore, in accordance with section 143 of the School Act, the Board has prepared this capital bylaw and agrees to do the following. A, authorize the Secretary Treasurer to execute a capital project funding agreement related to the capital projects contemplated by the capital plan or the capital plan with modifications. B, under ministerial approval to proceed, commence the capital projects and proceed diligently and use its best efforts to complete each capital project substantially as directed by the Minister. C, observe and comply with any order, regulation, or policy of the Minister as may be applicable to the Board or the capital projects. And D, maintain proper books of account and other information and documents with respect to the affairs of the capital projects as may be prescribed by the Minister. Now therefore, the Board of Education, the Board enacts as follows. 1, The capital bylaw of the board for the 2023-24 capital plan as approved by the minister to include the supported capital projects specified in the letter addressed to the secretary treasurer and superintendent dated March 9th, 2023, and hereby adopted. 2, this capital bylaw may be cited as the school district number 48 Sea to Sky capital bylaw number 2023-24 CPSD 48-01. Read a first time the 12th day of April 2023. Read a second time the 12th day of April 2023. Read a third time past the 12th day of April 2023.
Thank you, Celeste. And thank you, Lisa, for the second. And are any objections? Seeing and hearing none, and that is carried. And go back up to information items. Ministry funding announcement, school food programs.
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to bring everyone's attention, and the link is in your package under that item, that on Tuesday, April 4th, the Ministry of Education and Childcare announced a new Feeding Futures funding program to build and expand local school food programs in every school district. So the overarching intent of the funding is to reach that 20% of students who face food insecurity across the province. So that's a very sobering statistic that came across, and we know there's need in every jurisdiction. For us, our allocation is I feel a very generous $628,279 for food programs for the 2023-2024 school year. We are excited to share more information with you and the public as we learn more and get our community partners together to consult and get their input into best ways to spend the money. We know the integral role that community partners such as our local food banks, the PACs, backpack buddies, and of course our guidance from our local First Nations play in combating food insecurity. So we will definitely work with our partners, and as we learn more, I'm about to head off to a number of metro and provincial meetings of district leadership and with the Ministry of Education and Childcare, and I'm sure at the BCSTA there'll be some more information about the food program. But we're super grateful to the Ministry of Education for committing to the program, and to let everyone know that this, we've been told, is ongoing funding, so that $620,000 plus dollars is for next school year specifically, with more money to come in succeeding years. So super grateful for that. And there's a Q&A from the Ministry of Education that's available to the public on their website, and our link is in the package, just sort of answering some basic questions about the program. So this is to replace and focus on food of the original school affordability fund. So this money is specifically in support of food programs. And what we know we're able to do, as it says in the bulletin, is if we've, and we already do, of course, have monies to go towards food programs in our schools, we'll be able to use this fund to pay for that, allowing us to free up some operational monies for other worthy causes in the district and just continue to support student mental health. So we're super excited to get our hands dirty in using this money effectively to support our children in their schools and our families.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, they did an announcement like this in September, I believe. So did we get some money for this current year?
So yeah, the September announcement was to let us know with the current school affordability fund that we were able to carry over some of the funds. Although we did our best, as you know, to spend all that money, still have some to go. So that's separate. So this is a second
Again, okay.
announcement. Yeah, and this is again the commitment that this will be ongoing funding,
Permanent funding,
permanent funding.
Wow.
for sure for 3 years, but they're saying it's permanent. So
Well, the one thing I remember finding it a little alarming, and very, very pleased with staff for having to know for it when COVID hit. And people were choosing to have their kids at home, school there, and we were bringing food
You were, yeah.
because some of the kids, they ate here.
That's right.
And that's it. You know, and it's nothing like I wouldn't have thought that. And would you say 20%?
20% that's the provincial
Provincial,
stat.
yeah.
And the other exciting news is this also allows, although obviously the focus is on school age children, that we'll be able to continue to support programs like the food bank that supports kids when they're not in school. So over the holidays, when schools are in session, weekends, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, I think the food bank here in Pemberton might be only open one day a week. Something like that. And I know like in Naquaco and I think Lilwat as well have little food banks, and but Naquaco, I mean, it's just the bookshelf.
Right.
With some dry goods, but
Yeah.
but there's a local growers that in the summer months are dropping off every week, fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff.
Exactly. I will say as a region, our district and communities are very supportive of families where they can, and that's amazing. And so we're looking forward to, helping to do our part even more and partnering with outside agencies and third-party providers as makes sense.
Yeah.
To continue to support our families. So more to come for sure.
Well, it's fantastic news. I mean, no. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, then we can move on to our Pemberton House update. Danielle.
Yeah, so our Pemberton house is up for sale. It's listed. I think in December, the board made a decision to sell the house. So I can officially say it's on the market now. It's listed. You can check it out on realtor.ca. There's a link to the listing on the board agenda, so you can check it out. It's listed for 1.499 million. Yeah, so we're very excited that this house that was created with the help of students is turned out beautifully. And if anybody knows anyone interested in buying a house in Pemberton, please spread the word. It's for sale. Yep. That's it.
I just gotta say, it is a beautiful house.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, when we did the tour last fall. Last year, I don't even know. But now seeing the photos and it's staged and whatnot, they did a fantastic job. And super impressed with the kids that participated and are working in the field. Some have moved on to work in the field, and for the teacher support, I think it was Krista Walden.
Yes.
And then the local builders, because there was Bill McLeod and wasn't Dale Beatty part of that too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
McLeod. Yeah,
Both of whom graduated at Pemberton Secondary.
that's
so-
right. That's right.
Well, that's pretty
Awesome community
exciting.
partners for sure.
Mhm. And there'll be future update on what our plans are with the proceeds. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to clarify for the public, so at some point there'll be a breakdown of the proceeds can be used in only certain ways. And so it will report out to the public on the amount of money and what it may be used for and where it goes, just so there's a good understanding of.
Some transparency there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Anyone else have anything to add? No. Okay. So there's, we have some attachments for us to read through, a media report, field trips. And there's some correspondence. Is that just for us to read, or do we want to talk about it?
That's the one that we wrote a letter, the board wrote a letter to the Ministry of Transportation.
Yeah, just so,
I can speak to that for sure. That's a
Yeah.
great letter.
I think so as well. So this is, came as a request from Signal Hill, Pat? Yeah, was that who came?
That's right.
With concern about the speeding in front of Signal Hill School. And asked us to, because it's a public highway, it falls under the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. And they were looking for some support on requesting the different signage, like the digital school signage. to reduce the speed as it's become quite a concern. So we as a board agree that this is a great idea, and it would be wonderful to see some more controls. And I noticed there's one out here outside of Pemberton Secondary, and I find it effective. When I get the smiley face, I'm like, good for me. So yeah, that's, I think, about all we had on that. Was just I don't think we've heard anything back. But we'll see how that goes. Did anyone want to add anything?
We just thanks to the Signal Hill PAC for their advocacy for the safety of their kids.
Absolutely. Items for discussion, we don't have any. So this brings us to our policy motions. Do we want to do a background? So policy, trustee expenses. We had a discussion on this today, and we're the only change, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the mileage rate. And that would bring us to the same rate as everyone in the district is receiving. And that will continue to follow along with the BCTF as they make changes so that we're equitable. And I thank Danielle for the work on that. I know she reached out to a number of districts, or all the districts, and got the rates. And that is well within reason, and quite a bit lower actually than the majority. So that was the only change on that policy. Then we had some housekeeping on the school calendar development, policy 601. That was to add the word "the" into one spot that somehow we missed. And then to add and childcare, right?
To the ministry name.
To the ministry name, because their name has changed. So with that, there's a recommendation.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion that the policy committee recommend the Board of Education. Nope, whoops. Okay, let's start again. I'd like to make the motion that the Board of Education approve policies 211 trustee expenses and 601 school calendar development as presented.
Thank you, Celeste. So we'll just amend that. Thank you, Lisa. She's already got her hands up. Her fingers. Any objections? Okay, hearing none, then we can move on. We don't have any action items. We don't have any items to be brought out of camera. Any questions of clarification from the public?
Let's check. No questions.
No questions. Well, with that, then declare that we have completed the business of this agenda, and in record time, the meeting is adjourned. And the lights just went out. Awesome. Melissa, if you're listening.